The back streets of Manila, Philippines. This street has two different faces. Women here sleep and eat during the day and make a living at night by selling their bodies. They are called the women of the streets. Their desperate struggle for survival does not end with them. Poverty and misery are passed down from generation to generation. Children continue to live on the streets just as their mothers did. To the children whose lives were stolen by human trafficking, she is the mother of hope. And to the human traffickers, she is a fighter.
I cannot close my eyes after I hear all their stories and how they endured and look forward for a new life. And I'm just so happy to see them, pick up the pieces of their life and rebuild their life.
Manila is the capital of the Philippines that's made up of 7,000 islands. The Philippines' unique indigenous culture merges with Western civilization, the lasting vestiges of American colonization. After liberation, political chaos left the Philippines' economy in ruins, and it continued to worsen over time after a series of natural disasters such as El Nino, drought, and typhoons swept over the country after the 90s. Over 40% of the labor population is dependent on agriculture, and those who can't find jobs leave the country to earn a living and send the money to their families. Women who can't even afford to do that make ends meet by selling sex.
Marami pa po rito natutulungan.
Anong ginagawa sila?
Yung iba, nagtatrabaho dyan sa bar. Yung iba, maraming babae dito nag-aantay hanggang customer. Yung iba, pumapasok sa bar para kumuha ng customer.
Over 500,000 female sex workers are estimated to be in the Philippines, and about 20% of them are believed to be minors. They eat, get dressed, and sleep on the streets because they don't have a place they can call home. Utility poles become closets. Whatever they eat on becomes a table, and cardboard boxes become beds. To them, street life is their life, and they've never had their own private space before. They've also never had a chance to secure a safe family life. They are familiar with these streets more than any other environment. This is where they raise their children, where they eat, sleep, and earn a living. The struggle for survival is passed down to the children, and this grim reality torments the mothers. These streets turn into a red light district at night. Colorful lights shine on their makeshift dens. Men looking to buy sex, and women looking to sell.
Bambay!
Finding customers isn't easy because of the recent economic depression.
1985 ba ako dito? Working here, prostitute. Normally, but sometimes no customer, no money, diba? It's very hard life here now to get customer. So many people usually stay on the street.
She's exhausted, but she must come out to the streets again. Janet stands on the same street as she did yesterday. Will there be hope for her tomorrow? Is there hope?
I'm still on hell and I will die. I will be sad. I will live sad. I will die sad if I will still be here.
The more serious problem is that they are getting younger. More young girls are making ends meet by engaging in prostitution. They should be in loving homes, chatting with friends, singing in school. Instead, they wander the streets to attract customers, just as they did last night and the night before. A village located 3 hours from Manila. The problems are even more serious for children in impoverished areas because their parents lack the means to take care of them. Posters that say, "Stop human trafficking," can be seen everywhere. Without safety nets such as school and home, children become targets of human trafficking. They are easily tricked into believing that they'll be earning money for their family. There'll be a lecture on human trafficking and how to respond should it happen. Parents and children attend the lecture together because training the parents comes first. Se실lia arrives to give today's lecture. She's a leading figure in the war against human trafficking in the Philippines. She's devoted 20 years of her life fighting for freedom and human rights in her country. She started selling fish at the age of 5 and experienced the harsh reality of child labor. She was also incarcerated for 4 years as a political prisoner under the Marxist dictatorship. Now, under the Filipino president's nomination, she's serving as the leader of anti-human trafficking activities.
The event today is part of our prevention program to encourage poor community in the Philippines to continue their children to send to school. So we give them school supplies and knapsack so that the children will be encouraged to continue to school so that they will not be go to with the trafficker, because it is very important that the children are in school so that they'll be educated and of course they have the opportunity to succeed in their life in the future. So this is one form of Bisaenporom program.
Sesillia believes education plays a key role in protecting young girls from human trafficking. That's what she emphasizes at today's lecture.
It is a hot topic right now, especially right after the Typhoon Yolanda, where many victims came from the typhoon hit location and then they were brought in Manila or outside the country for prostitution and other likes of human trafficking. So many victims were coming from the different provinces in the Philippines.
Typhoon Yolanda struck the Philippines in 2013 and aggravated the situation. After losing their homes, children flocked to Manila to earn a living for themselves and for their family. And the evil hand was out to get them. A port city located 3 hours away from Manila. There is the Bisaenforom's shelter here. The Bisaenforum was established in 1991 to facilitate the welfare of the neglected immigrants and laborers. And it rescued about 15,000 potential victims of human trafficking from 2000 to 2011. The rescued girls are living here now, and all of their cases are pending in court. Se실lia not only rescues children from human trafficking, but also helps them through rehabilitation and takes the traffickers to court to put them behind bars.
This group was actually recruited by just one man, a man that disguised to adopt them. But the adoption is actually illegal. It is just sometimes an adoption between the parents or the child. Most of them started to go with this man in a very young age. And this man is actually the operator of cybersex. At the same time, also sold them to customers. What we understand is that he introduced the children to a foreigner online, and from there, they create that kind of relationship. They do some live performance with each other and with this with the traffickers, and invite a regular customer to come to Manila to use the girls.
My name is Sweetie. I'm 10 years old. I live in the Philippines. Every day, I have to sit in front of the webcam and talk to men, just like tens of thousands of other kids. The men ask me to take off my clothes. They undress. They play with themselves. They want me to play with myself. As soon as I go online, they come to me. 10, 100, every hour. So many.
Cybersex crimes are plaguing the world. Men outside of the Philippines can easily contact children through the internet. They demand the children to expose themselves and engage in sexual conversations in exchange for money. Pimps invite these foreign men to Manila and arrange a meeting between them and the children. Of course, this leads to prostitution.
Webcam sex tourism. Investigators tracked down their addresses and photos and handed them over to Interpol.
She is the weapon against online sex tourism.
46 Australians have been handed to international police.
I'm of course very happy for Terasams that they have made this case.
The Philippine Cybercrime Task Force has tracked IPs and handed 1,000 perpetrators to Interpol.
Nung ako'y bata pa po, na-traffic po ako ng human trafficking po sa lugar namin sa Cebu. Niyaya kami na kung gusto ba daw namin magtrabaho. Kaya dinala niya kami sa isang computer shop na private, tapos kami lang yung nandun. May ginagawa kaming doon, iba, may ginagawa kami. Yung trafficker namin, siya yung nakikipag-usap dun sa foreigner sa computer para kung ano man ang gustong sabihin ng foreigner sa amin, gagawin namin. Tapos ayun, sabi ng foreigner, magtanggal daw kami ng damit namin sa katawan, lahat. Tapos ayun, sinunod namin kasi ayun ang sinabi niya.
Cybersec is like a new phenomena when we our fight against human trafficking. It is run internationally, and it is even very difficult to unmask this issue because people can just operate it in a small room with no knowledge of any individual what's going on in that room. The other side, the perpetrators is also in a private room. So it is done in private, and they don't realize that what they are doing and what they are watching is really an abusive act.
The abuse leaves its marks on these young girls. The perpetrators commit these crimes in secret, knowingly or unknowingly, trampling on the girls' dreams and their lives. Sesillia is overcome with sadness. The Visayan Forum is repairing its fences. Social workers must accompany the children whenever they go out. It's because most of the girls under the forum's aegis are in lawsuits against the pimps, who will not hesitate to launch attacks on the Visayan Forum to take the girls away. It saddens Sesillia that she couldn't protect the girls from their threats and revenge, but she will never give up her fight against them.
Last March, we have this group of Muslim women that we rescued. And then after a few days, they come with around 15 people, men. They have their own bands, and they destroy, the gate. They took them, 16 of them, from us. Of course, we hurt their business. That's why we also want to get us. Visayan Forum is like a 25-year-old organization who's always on the front line against human trafficking. We have traffickers already put in prison, and we are handling many of the most sensitive cases and risky cases here in the Philippines.
I've been awake, feels like several days, minute hand is turning.
The Visayan Forum girls are not free to go out as they wish because they're exposed to all kinds of threats and attacks. Sometimes this shelter feels like a prison to them, but their peaceful routine of eating together, singing and dancing is just like any other girl's day.
Life shows us we're only here for today. 'Cause sometimes I don't know the point, but the point's not knowing. It's having faith. The faith can get me where I'm going. It'll be alright in the morning. Gonna open my eyes and see the light. It'll be alright when the sun is shining. Hold tight, the world will turn around again tonight. It'll be alright, oh, in the morning. I'm gonna open my eyes.
Sabi on my own, feeling find out the things that I don't know. When tomorrow comes, tomorrow comes, tomorrow comes.
The girls' routine includes a special psychotherapy session.
In the dark I found
and I sing along, I sing along, and I sing along. I don't know what you do, I got you and I look around me and see the sweet.
They share their painful stories during these sessions and heal their wounds little by little. It took a long time for Nicole to be able to talk about her experience. Carefully, Nicole brings up her nightmarish past.
Simula po nung 14 years old po ako, binuga po ako ng nanay ng kaibigan ko. Napunta po ako sa bahay nila hanggang isang araw po, pinagamit niya po ako, pinainom niya po ako ng alak at pinagamit niya po ako ng drugs. Tapos dinala niya po ako sa may kubo. Para po siyang rest house. Tapos po, may nag-iintay po sa akin doon na isang lalaki po. Nung natakot po ako. Tapos po, wala na po kasi ako magawa kasi sabi niya po, bayad na daw po ako. Tapos nabaran na po ako doon. Tapos ginalaw niya po ako ng, hindi lang po isang beses, kundi 2 beses po ng gabi na yun. Tapos po, nung paglabas ko po ng kubo, sabi niya po, wag daw po ako magsusumbong. Sabi ko po, hindi po ako magsusumbong kasi takot po ako kay nanay. Takot din po ako malaman ng pamilya ko. Tapos yun pa rin po yung ginamit nilang way para ibugaw po ulit ako. Noong mga sunod na araw po, pinapasundo niya po ako sa anak niya kahit po gabi na. Tapos pag hindi daw po ako sumama, isusumbong daw po ako sa magulang. Natatakot po ako malaman na magulang ko na nagalaw na ako ng matanda.
Nicole still remembers what happened vividly. To be violated by someone she knew so well, and a fear that muffled her voice. It all became a scar that she'd never be able to erase.
Nung buntis na nga po ako, gusto niya pa rin po akong ibugaw. Tapos po, sabi ko po ayoko na. Tapos sinagsalita niya po ako ng masasakit sa kalsada. Siya po mismo yung nagsabi na naputa daw po ako, nagpapayot daw po ako kani-kaninong lalaki. Tapos, wala daw po kong utang na loob sa kanya. Tapos po, natakot po, sobrang napahiya po ako nung araw na yun. Halos po hindi ako makatulog kasi iniisip ko po yung pag buntis po ako, hindi na po ako makakapag-aral. Tapos po, pag naliligo po ako, inahilit ko po yung tiyan ko para po malaglag yung anak ko.
She was at the age to be in school. She didn't know who her child's father was. And she was afraid that her family would find out. She needed a lot of time before she could accept her child.
Ano daw yun? Ano daw?
She actually disclosed everything what happened to her after 2 years of stay here. So during the first week, during the first month, it is very difficult to get information from them. So you really need to use strategies, different mechanisms to get their stories. But in most cases, it's very difficult. It will take time to get their full story. So a while ago, the session is intended for girls who has history of sexual abuse. Aside from being a victim of trafficking, they also have history of sexual abuse.
She no longer has to tremble in fear alone. Grateful that there are people who will listen to their side of the story, the girls hold on to the hope for tomorrow. Nicole and her baby are going out for the first time in a long while. She was given a special permission to go out today.
Ay may kumain na pala kayo? O kasya na ang pera niyo?
She's on her way to meet her family. The last time she saw them was 6 months ago. The thought of meeting her parents makes her heart race.
Nanay ko po. Anong salita mo sa nanay? Sa bahay? Sa bahay. Sinong bantay? Lola po. Grandmother.
Her family has to travel more than 12 hours to meet Nicole. She feels bad for having brought so much pain to her family, but they're her source of strength that keeps her going. A reunion in 6 months. Nicole has become a mother, but she's still a baby in the eyes of her mother. The first time in months, Nicole chats away in her mother's arms. She can always count on her mom. Nicole's daughter is usually shy, but she looks comfortable in her grandfather's arms, as if she remembers the way he held her when she was born. The joy of the reunion dissolves their long journey's fatigue. They can't look away from each other.
Muna po tricycle, tapos barko, tapos bus, tapos po jeep, tapos papalo na po sa Cubao. Sa barko po ay mga 3 na po kasi sa barko. Tapos, opo, paparito po mga ilang oras din po yun. Opo.
Most young victims of human trafficking are first abandoned by their families. Then they are shunned by society. But Nicole's family was different. They embraced their daughter when she was in her greatest anguish. It was this love from her family that enabled Nicole to have hopes for her future again.
Napakabait po niyan na bata. O yung pong pinakamabait kong anak, natutulog na lang po siya sa... Makikita ko na naglalaro, natutulog na lang po siya. Nakakapaglaban ako, nakakapag-imbis na ako. Siya po, naglalaro siya pagkakagising. Basta't hindi po siya gutom, hindi po siya nag-iiyak. Mabait po siya, medyo matalino rin po. Meron po talaga siyang... Minsan po, nagkakasabit din po siya.
Nicole's mother recalls her daughter's innocent days. The incident that robbed this lovely girl of her peaceful days also changed her family in an irrevocable way. Everything happened so suddenly.
Nagkalayon po ng loob na parang nagalit po ang aking asawa sa kanyang panganay. Nasaktan, parang ang layo-layo. Dati po kasi ang lapit-lapit na po nilang dalawa. Nung nangyari po yun, parang medyo po lumayo ang kalooban ng aking asawa. Nung una lang po, mga ilang linggo lang po yun, parang sumama po ang loob niya. Sa panting panahon lang po. Siyempre po bilang isang ama.
Her family loved and cherished Nicole more than anything else. They did not have a lot, but they worked hard and did everything they could to raise their daughter to be a good person. But the violent reality that Nicole experienced hit the family hard.
Hindi ko po alam ang gagawin. ko, ma'am. Sakit-sakit po nun sa akin. Hindi ko po talaga. Kako, bakit ganyan, anak? Bakit? Tapos sabi niya, nanay, buntis mo ako. Kako, anak, bakit? Nanay, papalaglag ko na lang po ang baby ko. Kako, hindi, anak. Kahit po, hindi po namin kilala kung sino ang kanyang ama. Pero anak po namin, apo ko po siya. Kaya bless na rin po sa amin ni God yung kanyang anak. Okay na rin po kahit nagkaganon man. Buhay naman po ang aking anak. Hindi naman po nila sinasaktan, hindi naman po nila pinatay. Mahalaga po, buhay po ang aking anak.
Ay po naman po at sana po maayos na lang o yung kaso sa kanilang hearing. Wala na ako kung... Walang masabi ho ako eh. Wala na ho ako masabi.
The wrath he has for those who hurt his daughter. He cannot find the words to express his regret and anger for not having been able to suffer instead of her.
Hindi ko alam kung bakit napaganyan ang aking anak. Ayos naman yung bata ko ang aking... Ay, sobra akong galit ko.
He cannot forgive them. Any father would feel the same. He can only hope that she will be able to break free from her past and move on to a new life. The Bisaenporom operates a total of 6 shelters around Manila. Unlike other shelters that were established with foreigner support, the Bisaenporom is a non-governmental organization run by Cecilia to end human trafficking. It is also the oldest human rights organization in the country. Cecilia's courage and extraordinary devotion played a pivotal role in making today's Bisaenporom possible. Protecting young girls from human trafficking and saving them from despair. That is Cecilia's mission. She's determined to pursue it until her very last day.
The Philippines is a developing country who is struggling with a lot of problems like poverty, crime, drugs, and everything. I choose human trafficking because this is a needs, an urgent need that only few people actually responded. I choose human trafficking because the victims are really very young and desperate, and I think it requires a lot of courage to deal with this issue heads on. And I believe that the Bisaenporom is responding with that.
Cecilia's human rights movement has gained a lot of attention from the international society. She's devoted her entire life to saving the alienated who are abused and exploited in her country. And with her family's help, she was able to walk this path. For the first time in a while, Cecilia is eating out with her family. She also had her share of trials. She was imprisoned while fighting for human rights. She was pregnant at the time. Eventually, Cecilia had to give birth in prison. It was a bleak situation, but she didn't stop fighting, even behind the walls.
I was born in prison, and I spent a good few years of my life in prison until my sister was born, also in prison. And it was only after the People Power Revolution of 1986, when democracy was restored to the Philippines, where my mom and the entire family were able to leave the prison. Maybe the clearest memory I have is in the middle of the jail, there's a very big tree that my mom climbs with me, and she carries me on her back, and then she shows me that there's a world outside.
Of course, as a mother, it's really break my heart to see my child when I bring my little boy back to the prison. It seems that I lost everything. I don't know what happened to us. I don't know what future brings us.
Cecilia held on to her principles even when it seemed as if she would lose everything. Right now, she carries this earnest hope in her heart that the girls would emerge from their painful past and find something bright in the bigger world that lies outside the Visayan Forum. This is where the Visayan Forum began. The Philippines is made up of 7,000 islands, so it's easy for country girls who blindly come to Manila to fall into the traps set up at the port. Child labor is illegal in the Philippines, so children without guardians must undergo interviews at the North Port Center. This center was established to save children before they fall into the world of illegal labor and prostitution. So far, about 8,000 children have passed through this center. Cecilia rescues girls, interviews them, sends them home, and even supports their living while they stay in temporary shelters.
In-interview po ako ng social worker namin, tapos nakikipag-communicate din ako sa family ko if ano yung desisyon nila kung uwi ako or magtatrabaho ako. Tapos dinidesisyonan din kung kung mag-aaral ako. Yun kasi gusto ko talagang mag-aral eh. At the same time magtrabaho, pero minor ako kaya parang hindi talaga pwede.
20-year-old Chal was rescued here when she was 16. Girls who have passed through this center, girls who couldn't have dreams because of poverty, girls who had to sell their bodies to have a future, girls who fell prey to the ugly game created by the adults. Cecilia cannot forget the unfortunate stories and the scars that the young girls carry in their hearts. That is the very reason that she is here now.
I want to show you this. So they write a message here for us, and she said, "Dear Mom, dear mother and sisters, I want to say thank you for taking care of us here in Visayan Forum. We love you, Regine." So it's just really touched my heart to know that even we were able to send them home, they still express in their own way, their gratitude of, touching their life and helping them. So there have been so much girls in this house, and I miss them because I know this girl.
Watching the girls find a new life is Cecilia's greatest pleasure and reward. She believes that it's her duty to extend her helping hand to as many girls as she can and help them start a new chapter of their lives.
So the purpose of the intervention while we are in the port is that we try to avoid trafficking in transit, because once the girls will actually end up in the exploitation, it's very difficult. It's really very difficult to find them in Manila. It is difficult. And they are already exploited. So we are hoping that before the exploitation happens, that they are already saved. And the trafficker will be, persecuted already, because we don't want our girls to suffer first before they get any protection and any services.
This port center also reaches out to girls who suffer from extreme child labor. Chal was one of them. She began laboring when she was 11 due to her family's circumstances. She was also severely abused. She did not have any friends or relatives to help her in this cold city. The Visayan Forum provided young and lost Chal with a place to eat and sleep in. It also gave her a chance to learn. Chal is now a university student with a radiant face. With Cecilia's help, she was able to walk toward her future, step by step.
If we don't take it, who's gonna take it, This is a very difficult fight. This is a very dangerous area of work, but it needs really someone who puts his heart on it. I don't know. I feel that I cannot betray those children who really needs our attention. I cannot betray them after I hear their stories and hear their cries. I cannot go on living after I know that we created some impact in their life and maybe we are their only hope to recovery. I cannot close my eyes after I hear all their stories and how they endured and look forward for a new life. And I'm just so happy to see them, pick up the pieces of their life and rebuild their life. And it makes me happy and proud of what we are doing, and I love them so much.
The Visayan Forum's morning. As usual, Cecilia's day starts with her routine. As soon as she wakes up, she greets the children and embraces them with love. Children in this forum cannot freely leave the premises, and their families are not allowed to visit either. Cecilia understands the children's frustration. She's prepared a special event for the children today. She's invited longtime supporters from Singapore to the center. The girls are busy preparing to meet the guests. Because the girls are cut off from all outside contact, the guests present them with the opportunity to communicate with the world. The girls' hearts race at the thought of having guests for a change. The guests finally step into the Bisaenforum. They've come to donate sewing machines. Rehabilitation is just as important as psychotherapy for the girls here, because it's easy for them to relapse back into prostitution if they don't have any economic competence. Se실lia focuses on cultivating their skills so they can support themselves. The girls need people's attention and help in order to heal and gain financial independence. Sesillia is grateful to her guests for visiting the Bisaenforum to donate sewing machines. The girls are thankful as well. With no other way to express their gratitude, they sing for their guests. It's their way of saying, thank you.
The project will pay like a managerial fee to the foundation. In the boundaries, it also states, that the rest of it will go directly to the girls. And the point of an MOU is to make things as clear as possible so that both parties, me and the shelter and Visayan, all the parties involved have an understanding of where we'd like things to go.
The person in charge of teaching sewing has been volunteering at the forum for 17 years.
Beware in using this foot pedal.
The sewing machines capture the girls' attention. They eagerly read the manual and listen attentively to the teacher. Their eyes are lit up.
At pag naramdaman ninyo na ang lalabas siyang kusa dahil ito ang magkukuha ng sinulit. Okay? Kasi importante din para sa mga girls yan, paglabas nila ng shelter, meron silang pwedeng gawing kahanap buhay nila. And even for themselves, kailangan matuto sila. Pag may sira silang damit, pwede nilang tie-in sa sarili nila.
These girls know it too. That even though they're coming to terms with their past in Sesillia's arms right now, one day they will have to take that brave step into the world. The government's role is pivotal in protecting the girls from human trafficking. The Filipino prosecutors are determined to eradicate the crime. Stigmatized as a sex tourism nation, the Philippines has poured efforts into ending prostitution by passing the Anti-Trafficking Act and the Special Protection of Children's Act.
Our government is really firm in its drive against human trafficking. We have also this international cooperations and mutual cooperations between different countries through the use of treaties, national UN conventions, and international agreements. And we have proven that if we act together, we will succeed because we have this commitment to save our victims from being further abused.
Recently, the government of the Philippines began collaborating with Interpol to put an end to cybersex. It is also working with NGOs to track the offenders' IP addresses and arrest them. Poverty was not the girl's fault or responsibility. No one could have predicted such suffering. The girls mustered the courage to rise over what befell them. Cecilia lights their candle of hope, but to keep that candle going, everyone has a part to play. These are not crimes that affect just one country and just a few unlucky victims. Your brothers and sisters or your children could be the next prey. You could hurt these children, or you could help them. Will you turn away from the hurt and the unhappiness in their eyes?
Take a look at you.